So we know there are all these sustainable development goals, and SDG2, Sustainable Development Goal 2, is zero hunger, which is obviously a fantastic goal and mission. And surprisingly, even rich countries have some hunger problems. So here we are not going to worry about the socio-economic political aspects of hunger. There are lots of issues. Ethnicity can affect this, religion. But here it's much more about agriculture, how practices, policies, and technologies in agriculture can actually help produce food. You already hear that, always hear maybe, that there is enough food production, grain production, so hunger problem is not related to lack of production of grains. It's about supply, access, availability, and economic and physical availability of often, and war zones or poverty and so on and so forth. So this is a nice report, advancing sustain or a review article, a meta-analysis, because it's taking literature and it's trying to extract all the published material on practices, policies, and technologies that relate to agriculture and how they can be made to work for zero hunger and SDG2. That's the main goal. This is from Agroecology and Sustainable Food Systems. When you take these papers, you don't necessarily worry about the quality, the impact factor of the journal, and so on. If there is some reasonably good information, I want to report it. And since it's a meta-analysis and a review, it's synthesizing material from different papers, so it's useful. So that's the extent to which I make the choices on what to put out as a podcast, right? So, advancing sustainable agriculture for Goal 2, Zero Hunger, a comprehensive overview of practices, policies, and technologies. Advancing sustainable agriculture is crucial for achieving Goal 2, Zero Hunger, as it ensures that food production is efficient, environmentally friendly, and economically viable in the long term. So agriculture contributes upwards of 25% of the total emissions, so we have to obviously be environmentally friendly. And there is also water contamination, air quality issues coming from agriculture. Sustainable agriculture encompasses a range of practices, policies, and technologies that contribute to achieving this goal. By focusing on the significance of sustainable agriculture and fostering a deep understanding of the complex challenges associated with achieving zero hunger, this overview emphasizes the need for multidimensional strategies that encompass environmental stewardship, social equity, and economic viability in agricultural ecosystems, such as ecosystems. Furthermore, it explores the potential of emerging technologies such as precision agriculture, agroforestry, and digital platforms to revolutionize food production while minimizing environmental impact. Through a nuanced analysis of best practices and policies, the goals are to inspire collaborative efforts and informed decision making toward building resilient and sustainable food systems that can effectively address the global challenge of hunger and malnutrition. Sustainable agriculture. So I'm going to just cut out a lot of the text. It's a long paper, very useful if you want to go read it. I'm just going to take some main points. So this is already, there is some introduction which I skipped. This is from second section. Sustainable agricultural strategies for achieving zero hunger. So I've jumped ahead. Sustainable agriculture plays a crucial role in achieving zero hunger by producing food in a way that preserves the environment and supports communities in the long term. Here are some strategies for sustainable agriculture to help achieve zero hunger. Agroecology, promoting farming practices that mimic natural ecosystems such as diversified crop rotations, agroforestry, and integrated pest management. So there are obviously lots of references because it's a review paper, I won't, show all of them, but as I'm reading this text, you can see some papers. This approach, agroecology, enhances soil fertility, biodiversity, and resilience to climate change. Conservation agriculture is the second one, encouraging minimal soil disturbance, permanent soil cover, and crop rotations to maintain soil health and reduce erosion. Conservation agriculture helps increase productivity while minimizing environmental impact. This is about reducing tillage, fertilizer use, and leaving the biomass residues in the field, and so on and so forth. Jumping ahead, what are the various items within sustainable agricultural strategies for achieving zero hunger? These are standard ones. Water management, we know this is very critical. So how to use climate services, subseasonal to seasonal forecasts for water management, better water use for irrigation efficiency, and so on, drip irrigation, etc. technologies, but providing forecasts of rainfall at few days to a couple of weeks can help water management. So I have podcasts on that elsewhere under S2S as well. Use of organic inputs, which is much more holistic, so compost, biopesticides, organic fertilizers, and so on. Crop diversification, of course, is a very old one where crop rotation and diversification are very critical. Monocropping is typically bad for soil health, even though it's very attractive for farmers because it makes life easier and income streams are more steady, and so on. So encouraging cultivation of a variety of crops to improve nutrition, enhance resilience to pests and diseases, and promote ecosystem balance, etc. So these are details we already discussed elsewhere, so I'm not going to go into each of these items. Agroforestry is where you are mixing horticultural plants and other plants with agriculture to reduce evaporative losses. Sometimes you can generate non-rainy season income from them. It also enhances soil moisture persistence, drought resilience, carbon uptake, carbon content, and so on and so forth. And of course, biodiversity. Support for smallholder farmers. This is always very important to incentivize subsistence farmers and smallholder farmers to follow these practices, which are good for the environment, but if they are not good for their income, then they need some incentives to do them, right? Climate smart agriculture, this is about adapting crops that are appropriate. These are tricky because they need advice, and when you tell a farmer to, let's say, switch a crop because it's not appropriate for the climate that is now there or is changing, then you have to again incentivize them to switch, because there may be a cash crop like cotton or soybean or whatever. If you want them to switch to something else that is better for the environment but not better for their income, livelihood, then that's not going to happen. So climate smart agriculture has to help with crop diversification, soil conservation, water management, agroforestry, and so on. Agrobiodiversity conservation, so it's a little bit more detail on agroforestry. So you have to worry about again, resilience, nutritional diversity of the people, and ecosystem services, which is a broad term to say what do we get from having, a forest is, everybody loves a forest, but if a developer comes and wants to chop part of it off or all of it off for building housing or something else, a mall or something, then how do you pay for it? Ecosystem services is the terminology, but we know that that doesn't work very well in practical terms against economic interests. Precision farming, again using technology to apply irrigation better, pesticides better, fertilizers better, more precise, more quantified, etc. And there is use of satellites, drones, and so on, AI to optimize all these things. Sustainable supply chain, so broader issue, but that comes to broader mitigation and adaptation. So if the risks and vulnerabilities of the supply chains are known, then you can really maintain the entire food system better, so that losses are reduced financially, and grains or vegetation or vegetables, flowers, fruits, whatever as well. waste is a big part of it. So any climate disaster somewhere will affect the entire supply chain. So how to make them sustainable and resilient? Capacity building and education, of course, farmers need training and awareness in terms of what is happening, what is changing, what may become, you know, if they are growing something now and happily making money and climate is changing and they don't know it, then obviously education helps. Capacity building is the ability to adjust to early warnings and advisories and so on. Policy support, government levels, institutional levels, policies have to support all these things. Partnerships and collaborations, of course, encouraging collaboration among governments, non-governmental organizations, researchers, farmers, and businesses to address food security challenges and promote sustainable agricultural initiatives. They are kind of very general concepts, but still they are important because how these things are organized, even within a state or a country, is agriculture separated from water and energy and food systems and markets and so on? Is there a better way to manage them through policies and partnerships and collaborations to help the entire food system towards zero hunger? That's the main goal here as well. Reviewing effective practices, policies, and technologies. Monitoring, reporting, reviewing is always important for progress, especially in terms of how actual practices and policies that are intended to help and technologies that are coming in to make things more efficient, but maybe also driving excess consumption of, let's say, fertilizer or water, then how do we manage them together to drive towards better food production for zero hunger? Agricultural innovation, of course. US spends the most in terms of agricultural innovation and obviously dominates food production and markets across the globe as well. So every country has to worry about this now in terms of changing climate and impacts on agriculture. Food distribution systems and supply chains. So obviously this is within country and across the globe. Zero hunger must be a global goal, right? So obviously we have to worry about international things as well. So technologies like blockchain can help enhance supply chain transparency and traceability, making the distribution process more effective. As you know, blockchain is a ledger account bookkeeping kind of thing that helps track all the components of the food system. Policy initiatives, we already said, so social protection programs, etc. Nutrition education, there are issues of how climate change is affecting even the nutritional value of the even if crop yields grow up, if they are taking up lesser micronutrients, iron, zinc, whatever, then yields may go up, but actually nutritional value may go down. So nutrition education is important. Public-private partnerships. Food industry is big business. Lots of private players, but also lots of NGOs and so on. So how do you make sure that zero hunger and market forces are not contradicting each other, right? Climate change resilience, very, very important. So irrigation systems, agroforestry, as we said, drought-resistant crops, and so on. Technology for data collection and analysis, monitoring vulnerabilities, exposures, risks to supply chains, markets, production, yields, etc. You can now use all kinds of technologies, GIS combined with drones and satellites, etc. Food recovery and redistribution programs, sustainable food systems. So transitioning towards sustainable food systems that prioritize environmental stewardship, social equity, and economic viability can contribute to achieving zero hunger. Practices such as agroecology, organic farming, and regenerative agriculture can improve soil health, biodiversity, and ecosystem resilience while ensuring food security for future generations. Again, very general words. Investment in research and development, obviously very important. Community empowerment and participation. So engaging local communities. Socio-technical transitions are always difficult. Even if they're good for you, you may not be wanting to change the old ways, but that can be incentivized, and Co-production of these solutions and community empowerment and participation from the get-go obviously increases the chance that good practices are taken up. Monitoring and evaluation, obviously, the most important thing to ensure that policies and practices are actually moving in the right direction. So in conclusion, addressing hunger requires multifaceted approach that integrates effective practices, policies, and technologies. By leveraging innovative solutions, promoting sustainable agricultural practices, and fostering collaboration across sectors, we can work toward achieving zero hunger and creating a more food secure world. By adopting a holistic and integrated approach that combines effective practices, evidence based policies, and innovative technologies, we can strive toward the ambitious goal of zero hunger and create a more equitable and food secure world for all. So, I will jump ahead again and look at bridging the gap from theory to implementation. So, what we read is all the good things, holistic motherhood statements. A lot of them are being implemented and carried out. Research development happens, technology innovation happens, holistic practices in agriculture are being tried everywhere. Climate resiliency is being tried, smart agriculture, precision agriculture, all these things are happening. Predictions, sub-seasonal to seasonal predictions for agriculture, climate services for water, irrigation, all are happening, but still what are the gaps in terms of going from theory to implementation? So let's do that in the next podcast, because this is a good breaking point, already 16 and a half minutes. So we'll have several podcasts in this topic, because there is a lot of material that I want to cover. Okay, I'm being brief. Report is available, or the review article is available, so you can follow if you want. Okay, see you in the next podcast.